Hi, and welcome to the 7th episode, I believe, if I'm counting correctly, of Girlfriends Knitting. And I have joining me Darren and Amy from Knitting in Circles, and I'm super excited to meet them and have them with me in the podcast today. I'm down here in Biloxi at the Beau Rivage at a conference, so I thought, well, I'm going to call them and see if they want to come and meet, and so I was super excited about them coming over. So thank you.
It was fun. Thank
Thanks
you
for having
asking.
us.
And I got a little treat. Look how cute, a little stitch marker. So I'm super excited about that too. I normally start off with finished objects. This was supposed to be a finished object. This is my Hogwarts Express. See my pretty little owls?
Oh, this is so cute. That's the first one I've seen in person.
My pretty little owls. Can you see them on the thing? But when I got done, I just dropped that.
It came down my way.
Yes.
Oh, it traveled.
We're not going to be able to get to it. But I have a little bitty tiny ball of yarn left. And so instead of stopping,
Ta-da!
see, tiny little ball of yarn. I thought I'd keep going.
Oh.
Because it says
just
you can
finish it
do
out.
8
Yeah.
garter repeats instead of stopping where I am. And I had intentions of stopping right after the owls. But I think I'm going to keep going and finish up
I
the
would
little
go.
bit of yarn that I
I
had
would.
left and do the 8 garter repeats. So it's not a finished object, even though I had every intentions of having it finished and wearing it today. I thought that'd be cool to wear in my presentation.
That would have been nice. And I
It didn't
realized when you said you had a little mishap, everyone was saying, do you have a shawl? Do you have a shawl?
Exactly. Throw a shawl on. What Amy's talking about, if you were on Clark this morning, right as I was leaving to go do my presentation, I had a cup of coffee, and the klutz that I am actually made the mistake of trying to drink the coffee as I'm walking. So naturally, coffee went all down my shirt.
I'm only
Right
laughing
before
because
the
that would have happened
presentation.
to me.
It's my life. I know better. That's why I don't wear white shirts. It's because I know better than to do
I'm
that.
the exact same way.
So what are y'all working on? I'm sure y'all know from watching their podcast, but they've brought some of their works in progress with them.
Yes, I only brought one thing. I brought my car knitting. This is the Trillian that you guys saw yesterday. Hasn't grown much. And
You just hit me in the head.
It's okay. You'll survive. It's just a needle. And I'm doing this out of the Sanguine Griffin Skinny Bugga. And I like it. And I'm trying to finish it for next Tuesday, even though I have no reason. I just want an FO. That's my only reason.
Exactly.
And I'm still working on the sock. This is the Studio pattern, right?
Yes.
Yep. And
Did you make much progress last night?
a little bit,
I was still
not a
out.
whole lot, but I'm getting closer to the toe. And it's coming out great. I like it.
It's very
Makes
soft.
Yeah, I was a little
We
worried
need
about
feel
that.
a vision where you
Feel
can
a
feel the yarn.
I wasn't sure how that was going to work, but it does have nylon in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it should work. And it's super washed.
It
Because
is.
they're
It
going
is.
to friends, and they
It is
dry
really
clean
soft.
everything, but
Right.
we're like, hand wash these, just throw them on the counter.
Yes, I have certain things that I use certain yarns for certain people because I know, okay, this person will take care of this, and this person is going to chunk it in the washing machine. So
Yeah, it is super wash, but hopefully because they do dry clean everything, maybe they'll take better care of it.
Well, like you do when we give things away, you put a little tag on it saying,
right.
care, how to care.
Yeah.
Everybody should do that if you get
And
stuff
it's
away.
friends. I'll just text them and say, you better be taking care of the socks.
Exactly.
I can do that with them.
Exactly. Speaking of socks, we were laughing about the statistics cow and me being a statistics teacher, so of course I had to do the statistics cow. And I probably am not going to finish it in time. I think it ended in February. Sorry about that, technical difficulties. So we were talking about the statistics cow, and I have finished the first Hermione's Everyday Sock in the yarn that I dyed.
Really?
Yes. I
didn't
wanted it
realize
to
that was
be
the one that you dyed.
the Hogwarts colors, so I
Right.
put the dark green for Slytherin and the blue for Ravenclaw, the yellow for Hufflepuff, and then the red for Gryffindor. But as you can see, like there's some light blue in it, and there's none showing, but there's also a little bit of pink, some purple from where they bled together, because I don't know how to dye yarn. I need to leave that to our professionals. So it ended up looking like those 80s rugby socks. That's what
Yeah, I really like
Amy
that.
says.
I remember you had mentioned on your podcast, one of the other episodes, that you dyed something, but I didn't realize this was the one.
Especially like the heel. Do you see how the heel stripes?
Yeah.
That's those
I like
80
that.
rugby socks.
It is.
I like that.
So I've got one. Is that what they're calling a hoe? A half finished
Yes.
object? So here's our
Hey,
hoe.
to me, it's a finished object.
That's right. And then at the conference, I wanted something I could throw in my purse and work on whenever. Though I am getting strange looks for knitting in public. That's okay. So I have a little sock. Zebra print. Does that not look like zebra print to y'all?
It does. I like that.
And Amy was talking about her red lace chalgoos. These are 24 inch, and I am using them as 2-start because they're a little bit long with 24 inch. But I like this cable. I just bought some one day, and it is, like she said, it is stiff. It's much stiffer than some of the other cables. But I like it.
I'm using a 32-inch to Magic Loop, and it took a little getting used to, but I really like it, and I like the join the most.
I do. I love the join. It is super smooth. It doesn't snag at all.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite part of it is the join.
And I haven't used them yet. Ours. But they're
You
ones,
haven't
right?
used- yeah, they're ones. You haven't used
I don't
ones
usually
yet.
use ones
You
for
usually
anything.
do twos.
I use 1.5s typically for mine. I've done some in ones. The slanted vineyard socks that I did were
Yeah, I
we're
remember
using a
those.
1. And I found that the 2s make for too loose of fabric for my foot because I've got a teeny tiny little foot. Y'all can't see it, but I'm showing them a
I don't
teeny
have
tiny
that
little
trouble.
foot. So I mean, even 64 inches sometimes 64 stitches will be too wide even sometimes for my
Well, I
teeny
have
tiny
this-
size 6 foot.
I wear a 9.
Well, then there you
I
go.
don't have that problem.
The 2 will work great. And then my last work in progress is my second sweater ever. What do you think?
I like
Ooh.
that yarn.
It's going to be a Corinne, so it's actually knit this way. This is the left front panel, and so it's going to run vertical garter stitch. What I really like about it, first of all, is that we're doing it as a knit-along at my local yarn shop, so I can get lots of help. Secondly, what I like about it is there's only going to be 2 seams. I think you have to seam either the 2 sides or the underside of the sleeves.
Oh, that's good.
And that's it. Everything
I'm
else
not-
is all in one piece.
I'm not a seaming fan.
And I thought it was going to be boring because it's just back and forth with the garter stitch. But it's short rows so that you knit up to one marker and then back down and then to the next marker and back down. And it creates a pattern. So it really isn't just boring back and forth up and down garter stitch. And the yarn I picked out, it calls for a DK weight, but I actually picked a worsted weight and did a swatch. Wow, it was amazing that I did a gauge swatch. And it worked. I got gauge with just a different size needle with this worsted weight yarn, and it's the Bubbly Barocco. And I don't think they name their colors. It's 5312. Don't you love those wonderful names?
The ones he's using right now, I think 28 and 38.
28 and
That's not
38.
helpful at all.
That's not helpful at all. And it was funny last night when I was checking in. The bellhop came and he was pulling my 2 bags, and he saw the bag of yarn, and you could just see his face, and he looks at me and goes, "Do you want the yarn too?" Oh, definitely. You must bring the yarn. I thought that was hilarious that the bellhop was asking me about whether or not I wanted the yarn. So those are my current works in progress that I'm working on here at the conference. So that's what I brought to the conference with me. The Straun hat I do have down here, but I can't knit on it because it takes too much thought, because
Right.
it's seed stitch panels with cable panels with ribbing panels all the way around the hat. So that takes a lot of thought.
Too much to keep up with.
Cannot keep up with that and pay attention at the conference. I think that's it for our actual knitting, but we've been talking a lot today about eating and fitness and how we eat. Tell me again what we were talking about at lunch about the difference in vegetarians.
Oh, there's
Educate us, please,
yes,
Amy.
there are many, and it depends on who you're speaking with. Normally, I'll just tell people that I'm a vegetarian or I don't eat meat, but I eat fish and seafood, so it's pescatarian. And then there are some that don't eat dairy or don't eat eggs. There are so many different levels. But normally, unless I'm talking to someone who actually knows a little bit about it, I just say I'm a vegetarian because or I'm a vegetarian, but I'll eat fish or
Mhm.
seafood because most people don't know it's actually a pescatarian.
And then there's also vegan, and vegan wouldn't have any animal products at all.
Correct. Not even honey or anything like that. And there's actually even vegan yarns and fibers because of that.
Oh, really?
Which it was explained to me. I don't have the willpower to be a vegan. I wish I did. We actually those cookies that we like, the oat cookies from the vegetarian restaurant, those are vegan.
Okay.
And they are so good. They're like the best cookies. You would never know they were vegan. But it was explained to me, nothing slaughtered, nothing stolen. And so a lot of vegans consider honey being stolen from the hive.
I got you.
Or fiber from a wool as being stolen from the sheep.
Oh, okay. Because I wondered, because my understanding is that sheep need to be shaved.
Yes.
And so that's healthy for the animal.
Alpacas as well, because there's actually an alpaca farm here, and it's really, especially it gets so hot here, it's unhealthy if they keep their wool.
And I even had the idea, crazy for me, not crazy in general, the crazy idea of trying to spin my dog fur, because I have poodles, and so they have, it's wool, trust me, it's wool. If you have a poodle, you know what I'm talking about. But it was just, I mean, they're puppies, and they run around, and they roll in the yard, and so dealing with the cleaning it and shaving it, by the time I got finished, I said, I'm chunking it. I'm not dealing with this at all. So more power to you if you have the patience to deal with that.
Well, a lot of people do that, don't they? They
yes, there is a
website.
There's actually a Cruella de Vil law, so you can't use their pelt. But the argument is that if you're shaving them and not skinning them, I'm not skinning dogs, but that it's not breaking the Cruella de Vil laws because you're not using their pelt, you're using their fur.
Remember, I was recently, until I realized it was way too much to take on, I was making a list of all the different fibers that I wanted to try, and I was up to about 86.
Oh, wow.
Well, then I realized someone said, oh, here's a website that has over 300. Oh, here's another one that says there's over 1,000. I was like, never mind.
Never mind.
I'm not
a little too much to take on.
That just went way above and beyond. But actually, there's a technical word for when you use dog hair.
Oh, really?
And I completely, if I had the list with me, because in parentheses it had like the technical term, and then in parentheses it had dog hair.
I'm sure somebody's screaming it right now.
It probably, and I just don't remember. I actually left that one off the list.
Tell us on Clark or Rabbit.
Yes, we have a short-haired dog, so it wouldn't have done me any good at all. So I don't remember the exact term.
And you can't get knitters talking about eating, or we get back to spinning. It just
I know, right?
We're supposed to be talking about food, and I asked about the vegetarian thing.
Yes, I've been meat-free for several years now, and I wish I had done it earlier. I've wanted to do it for just years and years and years, but it's easier to eat meat. And it was something, when I would go to the grocery store, I was like, I don't want to buy this, I don't want to cook this, and then finally it's like, this is silly. Why am I eating something I don't want to touch or don't want to deal with? And it's different for everyone, it doesn't bother me if someone eats meat in front of me. It was just something for me. And then finally I was like, I know it's going to be harder, but this is something that I've wanted to do for so long. I actually need to do it.
And were you doing it for personal reasons or for health reasons?
More just personal. I just didn't like the idea of it. So, but like I said, it's different for
everybody's
everyone.
going to have their different reasons. And I find that many people, when they say they're vegetarian, people get either, ooh, why are you doing that? Or, there's strange connotations depending on who you're talking to.
Yes.
Right.
And a lot of times you would completely agree with the reasoning behind why they're doing that. I have severe grass allergies. And my allergist told me that when you have grass allergies, you also can have the same effects from drinking milk, cow's milk in particular. And I don't know if it's the lactose that causes it. That's what my family doctor has kind of hinted at, that it may be the lactose that gives you those same sort of symptoms, runny nose, stuffy eyes, watering from the milk as grass.
That's interesting. We're soy
So,
and almond.
He said, you need to be vegan. trying to be a vegan in North Mississippi, that's not easy.
Yeah, we only have a slight advantage because we're on the coast and we have easier access to seafood. But
yes.
still,
But if you were vegan, that wouldn't help, right?
not much.
No,
Because
that's right.
and not only that, but everything has cream sauce here.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah, everything is covered with some sort of cream sauce. The cream sauce has cream sauce.
Yeah, exactly. It does. And so now, I told y'all last week that I was having all kind of severe fatigue, kind of thyroid type symptoms, so I was going to go to my doctor. So I did, actually, that very next day. Went to the doctor. They ran blood tests to check for thyroid and hormone levels and all that stuff. That hasn't come back yet. But while we were talking, the doctor says, you need to try a gluten-free diet. She says you may just have a gluten sensitivity. It could be a full-blown gluten allergy. It could not be any of the above, but thyroid symptoms and symptoms of a gluten allergy are similar, at least according to my family doctor. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what she told me. So for the last week and a half now, I have been gluten-free. And several of the people in Clark sent me some really good websites to go to find information about how to deal with that. And I have found it a lot easier than I expected. Like, I didn't have any gluten at lunch today. I think I managed to stay away from that pretty closely.
That was really good. And we were also talking, because we did eat at the casino buffet, not eating meat. It's hard enough finding vegetables that have been cooked on their own without meat.
Right.
And I can imagine adding on top of that a gluten allergy.
Because you have to be careful about sauces, because a lot of
everything is sauces.
thickening is going to be flour.
Flour.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really have a sauce.
I didn't say anything, but I noticed I haven't eaten meat for, maybe 2 years or so?
Mm-hmm.
And I had that, was it the cabbage something? And it was corned beef and cabbage, so I tried to pick it out, but I did get a little bit of it. But I didn't say anything.
Yeah,
so
you have to be
I'm confessing
careful.
now. I think I had a tiny bit.
And we all had unsweet tea. So we all talked about how we
the
been
hardest
harding
thing.
sugar in the tea.
Unsweet. I love sweet tea. I
As
mean,
Southern
we're
girls,
just,
we love our
we're
sweet tea.
raised on sweet tea, so that was the hardest thing. But he actually has not. He's not supposed to have much sugar,
Right.
and he's been unsweet forever. And it's just like I can't do it. I can't
15
do it.
years
I
or
need my
20 years?
sweet tea.
Yes.
And maybe past 2 years.
You've gone, right.
I'm slowly
to unsweet.
Yeah, there's a couple of places where like McAllister's, I'll still do I'll just put like a dollop of the sweet.
And fast food restaurants, if you ask them to do half sweet, half unsweet, they will, without complaint. I have found
Right.
that.
Yes.
And Backyard Burger, if you ask them for no bun on the grilled chicken or whatever, they'll take the lettuce and wrap it and put it like in a baked potato canister so you can kind of cut it and eat it like it's more of a salad.
That's what they used to do when the Atkins diet was really popular. Everything was lettuce leaves replacing the buns. That's interesting.
And they did that for me without me even really. I just said, grilled chicken sandwich without the bun. And I didn't know what I was going to get, but I figured I've got to eat something, and I can't find anything real quick right now. So that was what they did, and I thought
That's really
that was
interesting. I guess maybe
very
they're
nice.
used to it from
They must be.
the Atkins days.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah, I think people are slowly adopting to these new dietary restrictions and
not
what people
everyone
want.
can eat the same
Some
thing.
people
That's
want, they want more meat-free choices. People require the gluten-free,
Right.
and packaging is getting better. So it's a slow process, takes time, but I think it's coming around.
And it depends on where you live, because here
Definitely.
everything is meat with a side of meat with sauce on top.
That's right.
And a
with
sweet
cheese.
tea.
With sweet tea.
And the nearest Whole Foods is what, maybe an hour?
Yeah, hour
Hour
and a half.
Yeah, we have to drive an hour to get to Whole
So if you go to Whole Foods, at least when I go to Whole Foods, I try to go once a month at most, and then you're getting non-perishables because you don't want to get anything that's going to require you eating it right then because you're not going to eat it again. So you might get, at least I do, I might get some fresh berries or something that I'm just craving that I eat on the way home, or something I'm going to make for dinner that night. But I don't really get any other perishable items at Whole Foods because I'm not going to be back for a while. So
that's
I
where
want to
we
get
would
something that's
get.
going to last.
Another thing hard to find is vegetable broth, because a lot of things
that's one
are
of the
chicken or
things.
beef. So we would get our vegetable broth at Whole Foods, but now our Walmart actually has it.
I think ours is too.
I was so surprised because our Walmart really doesn't have anything. It's our only grocery store for pretty much 30 miles.
Mine too.
So when they had the vegetable broth. Of course, it was like all the way down. You know, I'm like crawling on the bottom, pushing cans aside, but I actually was able to find it last time.
Well, I just really appreciate y'all being willing to do this, and that has just been so fun. I hope y'all have enjoyed getting to visit with Aimee and Darren today as well. I know I really have. Thank y'all so much.
Yeah, it was fun.
It
Thank
was
you
fun.
for asking.
No problem. Well, y'all have a great week, and I'm going to keep knitting and enjoying this gorgeous weather. We tried to show y'all the ocean, but the lighting wasn't going to work for us. You probably even seen that glare on me. The lighting did not work for us showing you the ocean. That's out my window. I have a gorgeous view, and it was too windy to be outside, so this is the view of the curtains that y'all get because of the lighting and wind restrictions. So y'all have a good week, and I will see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.